All right. Hello. Hello. Let's see if this is working. Dun, dun. I don't know. I don't know how these headphones are. Sometimes they sound like garbage. They sound terrible. And other times they sound pretty good. How are you guys doing? How do I sound? Is there anybody in the chat here yet? I got a couple people watching. Dun, dun. All right, Nasser's there. Nasser, how do I sound? Do I sound all right or is it weird? Sounds good. Okay, good. Hi, everyone. It's Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I'm Ethan Van Sciver, a 26-year veteran of this comic book industry, world's most charming, elegant, eloquent, and yet humble man. Great big Star Wars fan, trusted member of the media. So I am working today, and I'm going to be working all this month extra hard. I'm struggling to do videos because I just don't have the time. I don't want to take any time away. I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing. I don't want to stop producing pages. I have committed to myself, but more importantly, because I can let myself down all I want, I have committed to you, and I've committed to my publisher. That's right, a publisher. Signed contracts today. That this book would be finished. At least my part of it would be finished, right? I'd be hands free, hands off of this thing. April 30th. That is official now. It's got to be done. Doesn't mean it's going to be lettered. Has to, like, I have to have written it. I have to be done with all of the artwork for it. I have to be satisfactorily ready to walk away from it and turn it over to people who will make it into a comic book. And I'm grateful for that because I don't want to make a comic book. I don't want to do all that extra work. Now, it's going to cost a lot of money, obviously. I mean, to hire fulfillers, to hire people to do all of the production of this comic book, it does cost a little bit of money. But here's the thing about that. I was talking to Andrea about this. I'm like, I just want to be creative. I want to be able to be creative. All of this time that I would spend packing boxes is time that I could be drawing Rainbow Brood. That just seems like not a good use of my time. I mean, I really should be kind of just, all right, let me finish this and let me move on to the next thing. And I'll end up making more money that way. Hewitt Gack, thank you for $5. Please tell your boy to read some good comics so he can stop saying obviously terrible comics are just not bad. I'm worried about him. He needs help. I just watched his Kim and Kim review. I think I know what you mean. Yeah. Well, I like it when he reads bad comics and says they're bad, but he is taking mercy. His expectations have shifted a little bit, especially since, when you're making your own comics, people and you actually see how much work goes into it. Your standards might drop for other people. Your expectations for other people might drop. Not me. Mine don't. I still expect everybody to be as excellent as I am. This is Camden, New Jersey. I'm drawing in the background here. This is Salamandroid and Cyberfrog's first meeting. This is the last page of the first section of Cyberfrog Blood Honey. And I've broken it down now. I've got pages like everywhere. I've reorganized and restructured the whole series so that this is part one. This is the last page that I needed to do. Cyberfrog and Heather are friends. Obviously, they've been friends for a long time. But in the original series, Salamandroid and Heather didn't, and Cyberfrog, like they didn't all meet up until much later on in the Cyberfrog Ashcan. Heather learned from Chelsin, I think in Cyberfrog number 0, that Cyberfrog had a twin brother, and they meet him in the Cyberfrog Salamandroid Ashcan. This is back in the 90s. So I kind of want to pay tribute to what I did before. I kind of want to keep, even though if I were to go back and retell those stories, they would happen completely differently. I do want to kind of pay homage to them. If you did read them, Cyberfrog and Salamandroid did not meet when they were born. They met later. And that's going to be kind of what happens here. Just for one panel, it's being recounted really quickly that eventually Heather and Cyberfrog did meet Salamandroid. And from there on, all through 1998, the year 1998, they were buddies. They were all friends. They all worked together. Heather kind of decided... Heather decided early on with Cyberfrog, once Cyberfrog first saved her life, this is back in the 90s, that she wanted to take care of him. She wanted to kind of be his friend, but also kind of be a mommy to him. I mean, in a weird kind of way. Like she brings him food. Like Cyberfrog was eating out of dumpsters, and she said, "Well, let me just bring you some food." And she started bringing him Kentucky Fried Chicken, and he loves Kentucky Fried Chicken, so he would always ask her to bring him chicken like every single day. Yeah. So like I kind of wondered. I was like thinking about this. I'm like, where do they get the money? Like Heather is not rich. Heather is just like 18 years old. She still lives at home with her mother and stepfather. Where is Heather getting $20 a day to bring Cyberfrog chicken? I don't know. Is Cyberfrog giving her the money? I'm not sure. Where would Cyberfrog get money? I don't know, and I'm just not going to think about it too much, unless I have to. But actually, I don't have to, because the world ends. So it's not necessary. Yeah. These are all things that, you're like, maybe I can find a way to tweak that, make that make sense in the dialogue. And then I'm like, maybe not. Like, where do the turtles get pizza? Like, why do the turtles get to eat pizza all the time? How does that make any sense at all? They deliver pizza to the sewers. People in the chat are thinking that maybe he slings weed. Darth Bobcat says his suit can make gold ingots. Maybe. I don't know. Too many pointless details is how Bendis ruined comics. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think there's some truth to that. You don't need to know. Heather brings him pizza. I mean, Heather brings him chicken, and that's that. She's just decided, hey, you're this kind of kindly freak, little froggy that lives in the projects in these abandoned slums in Camden, New Jersey. I'm gonna come see you. I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna make sure you're okay because you saved my life, and I'm not afraid of you. Other people are, but I am not. So, in any case, drawing the background here for these Camden slums. My technique for this is to set up this is a 2-point perspective grid. As you can see, we've got paper pinned, like taped down to the side of each side of the page here. A lot of people ask how to do this. What happens if your vanishing points come way off the sides of your paper? Well, this is what I do. I just take copy paper, Xerox paper, and I just kind of pin it to either side. And then, right here is the horizon line way down low, right where this ruler is. There's one vanishing point here to do this wall here, just this wall that he's off of. It goes a little bit, it's curved a little bit inward. But then for this background here, this backdrop of buildings, I wanted to do 2-point perspective, which means that you've got a vanishing point right here on the horizon line, and of course a vanishing point all the way down here on the horizon line. Okay, that's the way to do it. Now, I set up a grid, but because these buildings are old and ramshackle, and the feeling that you want to get from these buildings is that they're blown the F out. They're going to fall down. They just feel wet. That's the feeling, like rotten wood. That's the feeling that I want to give them. I am not going to use a ruler too much when I'm actually inking them. I just don't believe that that's the thing to do. I believe that you could just follow the perspective guidelines and then just draw straight up, just ink it with a pen. And if it's a little bit crooked, that's good. Like, see, here's the window, and it's like, I'm just going to go in here with a pen, and I'm not going to make it perfect because this wood is covered with rotten, like the paint is peeling off. It's imperfect all around. So those lines there, that's kind of what we want to go for. We want to kind of break it up a little bit and then make it look a little bit beaten down and rotten. Hey, look, I'm doing Comic Artist Pro Secrets on Comic Artist Pro Secrets. How weird is that? You guys weren't expecting that. Uh, I see toe thumbs. I know this is like the old days. I'm nervous about it. I'm actually nervous about doing comic art shows on my YouTube channel. But it's all I can do. I mean, I really can't do I can't do too many other types of videos when I'm trying to get this out. I know my channel is going to suffer for it. I know you guys aren't going to support my YouTube channel when I'm talking about drawing Cyberfrog, but I've got to do these videos. I know you guys will walk away and my channel will die, but I have to believe in you anyway. I have to. How many more pages do you have to go? I talked today and I decided 15. I decided 15 more pages, and I can do all that. I can get it all done. I can get it all done by the end of April. I mapped it all out. Just a lot more that I wanted to do with this book. As you know, if you bought into this campaign, you bought a 48-page book. You bought a 48-page story. Well, we have gone well past 48 pages already. When this book is in your hands, the book itself is going to be 88 pages long. I believe the way these things go is they go in. You have to have 8 pages. The books get printed in 8-page numbers, I believe. That's why if you get a regular 22-page comic, it's actually 32 pages with the ads and everything. The interiors can be 32 pages. They can be 48 pages. They can be 40 pages. They can be 88 pages. So we've settled on 88 pages of total stuff. There's going to be a lot of extras in there. I'm going to actually print the very first Cyberfrog page that I ever drew. I mean, this book is going to be. I might even print like a couple of fan letters from people that I got that have kind of meant a lot to me and kept me going. But this book is going to be an excellent comic book. You're going to be very glad that you got it, and it's going to be almost twice as big as what you were anticipating. I can't do that every single time. We talked about Rainbow Brute today in the meeting, and they said Rainbow Brute can only be 48 pages. If you're going to do Cyberfrog 2 this year, you can't be doing this. You have got to limit yourself to what you tell people you're going to give them, and just stick to that. And I said, yep, okay. So Rainbow Brute will be 48 pages. We talked about Rainbow Brute toys. You guys. It's like, well, what kind of merchandise do we do for Rainbow Brute? And I was like, I think what we do is we do girls' toys that have been aggressed by boys. So if we're going to do plushies. We're gonna do plushies for Rainbow Brute. You'll have a Rainbow Brute action figure with a sword that's covered in blood. You will be able to buy a Care Bear, like not really a Care Bear, but one of the stand-ins, one of the parodies for the Care Bears, and you'll be able to rip his arms and legs off. And this will be a plushie, and they'll be like Velcro, but underneath will be blood and guts and. It's going to be so cool. It's going to be like if you're a little boy playing with, girls' toys, the kind of stuff that you would do. Like there were always girls' toys in my house because I have 4 sisters. So there were always like, big stuffed animals and goofy girls' toys. And I would have like plastic swords and Dungeons and Dragons stuff. That's what I was into. And I would just like I'd be like, oh, this My Pet Monster. This is a monster that I'm fighting with my sword, and I beat the hell out of it with a plastic sword. So really, that's the kind of thing that we want to do with these Rainbow Brute, plushies. Like you can make them bleed, like they're going to be able to bleed. You can beat the hell out of them. Rainbow Brute can fight them, or you can fight them. You can tear them to pieces, and they'll have bloody innards and stuff. I hope you guys like this stuff. It's going to be cool. So, yeah, this has got to go. Got to finish this up. And I think it's good. I really do think. I hope this book is good, guys. I hope you like it. It's been built up so much that people have so much expectation for it. I know that there are a lot of people who want it to be terrible. I know it's not terrible. I know it's pretty good. I want it to be great, though. I want it to be really, really a good start for Cyberfrog. I want you guys to be involved. I want you to know these characters. I want you to be ready for part two. And, I want a bigger audience for part two. And, we'll be ready to go. I mean, from now on, there will be merchandise galore for Cyberfrog. All kinds of stuff. And Rainbow Brute. Would you allow Funko Pop to do a Rainbow Brute or no? Yeah, of course I would. That'd be perfect. A Funko Pop Rainbow Brute would be perfect. It's perfectly appropriate. I mean, Funko Pop doing a Rainbow Brute, that is exactly right. Timecode Mechanic says, damn EVS, then Page is always on fleek, just backed. Oh, thanks, Nathan. Yeah, by the way, guys, if you haven't backed Cyberfrog Blood Honey yet, you're watching it get drawn right here. Look how little Cyberfrog is sticking to the wall compared to Salamandroid. If you haven't yet, if you haven't backed it, the link is in the description below, and I'd really appreciate it if you did back it. I'm so overcaffeinated right now. Hold on a second. If I'm talking funny, it's because I've had like 3 Red Bulls today. I'm so focused on my work. Matt Horkin, thanks for $5. I hope once Blood Honey wraps, we can see more redesigns like you did with Squirrel Girl and others. I absolutely love those and wish I'd bought that. Oh, the original art to that? Yeah, we'll see about that. I don't want to. I want to keep doing comics. People are kind of expecting a lot from me when it comes to producing more stuff. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing too many kind of just fun things like that. I'd much rather devote that energy to drawing a panel for Cyberfrog 2 or Rainbow Brute. But we'll see. We'll see. Sometimes I get in the mood. Sometimes I get in the mood and I have to do stuff like that. Blueberry ones are the jank. Yeah. Sponsored by Red Bull. Justin Wart says, I skipped his super chat. No. I can see it. So far, I've gotten $30 worth of super chats. Let me take a look here. Got $30 in super chats. Thank you, guys. I'll read them now. Justin Ward says, see the new animated DC with Jessica Cruz as the lead? I heard about it. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if I'm going to watch it, but it's pretty neat. Darth Gavel says, Ribbit, Fandom Menace is watching and waiting. Awesome. Egg Chen 6 Demon Bag says, Rainbow Brute weapon set collection. That would be cool, too. Yeah, I would like that. Darth Bobcat says, honestly, I'll support anything. Your voice relaxes. Hey, thanks, Darth Bobcat. King KDI says, crooked buildings, rotten wood. Is this New Orleans? Close, it's Camden, New Jersey. But yeah, Richard Zavala says, I backed the second tier Cyberfrog package, EVS. Thank you for all you do, good sir. Thank you. David Sutherland says, how is your fitness goals going? Yeah, we're going to put those on hold. We're going to put this on hold for a month. I'm looking forward to getting out and running and doing real fitness once I move into my new house and this book is finished and behind me. Zaid Comics says, celebration is next week. Wondering if we could get in touch to talk about the arcade meetup for Comicsgate and Council fans. I also have some pages of Magic Cop to show you. Excited. I dig these draw streams. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'll stay in touch with you when we get to the con. I know we have a meetup already. The Fandom Menace has a meetup in some Irish bar. It looks like it's going to be pretty fun. Like the fans are going to be allowed to come there, and we're going to hang out. I don't know past that though. So Zaid Comics, I'm sure we'll want to hang out in an arcade. Let's stay in touch and let me talk to the guys. Captain Ked says Cyberfrog is the first non-SJW comic I bought. Well, that's good. Ian House says, is each piece of merchandise going to be a separate tier? Will there be one tier for everything to simplify things? Yeah, like I think the way it's going to work, honestly, is that if I want to do the Cyberfrog board game, I'm just going to run an Indiegogo for the Cyberfrog board game. All of the merchandise is going to be separately done and spaced out. The idea, according to these guys, is to always have something on offer. Always have, like, while I'm working on Cyberfrog books, like the interiors, you guys should be able to buy the action figure. While I'm working on a Cyberfrog book, you guys should be able to buy a statue or a board game or something like that. So that's what they're going to take care of. There will always be something Cyberfrog. There will always be something Rainbow Brute that we are offering to you guys. And I think that's a pretty good idea. Yeah. Kick Cecil. Dynamo says, all of your old con videos are being pushed up in recommendations. I've noticed that. A lot of people sending me videos of me being fat at conventions and looking grumpy. Being interviewed. Yeah. Oh, Flappy Tsuyu says, how much, Frappy Tsuyu says, how much for you to do a cover on my book? I don't know. But I don't really have any time to draw for too many other people. I've made a few more commitments for Comicsgate. And Comic Skaters to do covers for their books, and I'm doing a trading card for Nasser Rabadi and his book Trixie Kane. But other than that, I don't want to offer myself too much, too many extra projects. Let's get Cyberfrog done and let's get moving. Paulie D says, first started watching you when you did your commentary vids. Don't worry about working out, Ethan. You're the world's most charming man. Well, I want to live for a while. I do need to get in shape, but I'm telling you right now, like, my diet goals and everything, I'm putting them down. I can't worry about anything else while I'm working on this. This needs to get done. Matt Becker says, when can I do an SJW reboot of Cyberfrog? You should do it right now. It'd be funny. Yeah. Where's the representation in this book? Where is it? Well, there's a woman in it. By the way, Cyberfrog's real name is Trick Ron. His name's Trick Ron, and Salamandroid's real name, we find out here, is Dedu Ron. And I don't care. Like, I'm doing it. Some people might say that's a dad joke and you shouldn't do it. I'm doing it anyway. Salamandroid's name is Dedu Ron. And I don't know why that makes me laugh, but it does. Met her on a Monday and my heart stood still. Yeah. Not Dindu Ron. Dedu Ron. Yeah. So let me spell it for you, just so you know. This is how his name looks. It's Do Ron. I think like that. Yeah. It's my character. I can do whatever I want. No, it's not the Red Bull talking. It's creative freedom. Yeah. I could do whatever I want. It's my guy. If you want to name a character something other than to do Ron, then you have to make your own book. It's Salamandroid's real name. Yeah. All right, so what else is going on? Oh, I wanted to talk about this, by the way. I was going to do a whole video about this. This is a couple of tweets from Patrick Zurcher here. And Patrick Zurcher is kind of a pill. Like, he's a pain in the ass. But these two tweets were really good. And I wanted to do a whole video about talking about them because I could really relate to them. Patrick Zurcher says, I had 2 discussions at other publishers end this year because each conversation had this in common. The story was locked up. There was no place to contribute ideas. These conversations don't just end. I'm actually met with low-key hostility for wanting more out of this job. He says, I understand their point of view. They think the way to make a comic is to have one guy write it and the other guy draw it. The writer and artist are not even in communication at all. That's not how I want to make comics. Man, Patrick, I'm telling you, you are describing my last year at DC Comics. That's exactly how I felt. And, I really think that at this point, comics are so desperate. They're in such decline. Nobody's having fun anymore. Nobody wants to take any risks. Nobody wants to do anything to really advance the art form. Nobody wants to try to be their best. They're just barely squeaking by. I mean, people are just barely getting by. And so there's this sense of kind of anger. There's this sense of boredom and frustration, and people are creatively frustrated. Uh, when I was on Green Lantern, or Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, which was the last book I did at DC. Yeah, I went to lunch with the guys a couple of times, and they just wanted to hear all my ideas, and I think they borrowed a few of them. But there was never a sense that like anybody, people, they rarely phoned me in on creative sessions about Green Lantern. So I would just get these stories that were fully done, and if I said I want to do this, maybe we should do this instead. What about this? The story was already finished. I mean, it was, my job was just to shut up and draw it. So, Patrick is saying, look, at this point, when I get a script from my writer, there's no contribution from me. My job is just to, take it and interpret it through my drawings, and that just is no fun. That's just not what comics are meant to be. I agree. I agree with that so much. I have dreams about the stuff I'm working on. And even like, I'm sitting here, this is the ultimate creative freedom, to be able to do my own character, to be able to tell my own stories. It's so much better. And when you don't have it, it is frustrating. It's frustrating. But that is again, it's the sad state of mainstream comics right now. People just feel not happy, I think. Great work is not going to happen under these conditions. And then just ask yourself, like, when you think about SJWs doing the comics right now at DC and Marvel, what are their classic stories? Like, what is the great pivotal SJW story that's going to be remembered 10 years from now? What is the amazing thing that they've done? And there just isn't anything. There just isn't. And how fortunate are we, with at Comicsgate, that we are able to forge our own destiny, blaze our own trail. We have creative freedom to produce the kind of work that we want. And look, this is a book that I'd want to read. I'm drawing a book for myself too. I want to read this book. I assume that you will too. I think I wouldn't insult my audience by giving them something that I didn't think they would enjoy. So I'm doing a book that I want to do, that I want to read, and I'm doing it for you guys. And I think that you'll like it too. And overall, I mean, just being creatively fulfilled. I'm not doing this it's like there's not a plan to make it a movie or a TV show, or there's no hope that it's going to be on Netflix, especially not anymore. Not that I made fun of Brie Larson. It's not going anywhere. But just to be doing comics for the sake of doing comics, telling stories for the sake of telling stories. That's the privilege of Comicsgate. That's the privilege of what you guys have given me. And I want you to know that I'm fully aware. I think about how late this book is compared to when I promised it would be done. I think about it every day. The estimated time of delivery was November. I thought I could get it to you by Christmas. It's just unrealistic, but I think about it constantly, and I'm grateful that so many of you, most of you, the great majority of you have decided to stick it out and see it through, and I think you're going to be so glad that you did. I've got enemies, SJW enemies, who are like, he's never going to do it. You're never going to get a book. He's running away with your money. It feels like a knot in my stomach. I know that they're like deliberately trying to give me an ulcer all the time. Like they're trying to dispirit my fans, and the people who supported me. They're trying to make it so that you won't do it again. You won't support my next project, and they're trying to give me a hard time. And it is a hard time. It feels, it's frustrating. It's like, yeah, I can't give you the book tomorrow. I can't. I'm still working on it. Well, why not? Where is it? It is agony. I know that, at the end of this, I'm going to be grateful that I had this chance to do this comic my way. And it's not going to be something that I'm disappointed with. It's going to be something that I'll always be proud of. And I fought for in a real sense. Like, we all did. We all fought for this together. We all fought for this opportunity. Um, and that's so cool. It really is cool. But it's painful along the way. It is painful. Matthew Meyer says, "How did you get to doing inks over your blue pencils?" Well, Matthew, that's a good question, and thank you for $20. Oh my gosh. Well, ordinarily, when I would turn in a panel like this, I would start with my blue pencils just to do the roughs, and then I would take, a regular pencil with a 3H lead like this, and I would do exactly what I'm doing here, but I would do it with a pencil. And I had gotten so accustomed to drawing so tightly because I was so paranoid that the inker was going to mess things up. My inker would ruin little details that I'd put in and not know what to do and not properly render it. That basically I would just draw this, but with pencils. And it would be so tight, it would be ready to go to print just in pencils. So I realized at one point, I would turn these pages in and the inkers would always mess them up. Still, I was never happy with what the inkers were doing. And I had some really good inkers, but they just weren't giving me what I was hoping for. That I just traded this out for this. And the end result is much better. I mean, it looks exactly like the way I want it to look. It looks exactly right, the exact amount of detail. I layer it out just right. Everything is kind of toned out the way that I was hoping for. And if I make a mistake, rather than use an eraser, I have my whiteout pen that I'll use. But for the most part, it works because I have complete control. I can get in there and do tiny details that I couldn't possibly expect my penciler to do for me. And then also, when I was working at DC or Marvel, I'd get paid twice as much. So that was like an important thing too. If you pencil and ink, you're getting paid almost twice as much, but you're getting twice as much in terms of royalties because the royalties are usually split for the penciler and inker. So over time, I went, okay, so there's no reason to pencil anymore because, I don't like how it looks when another inker inks my stuff. B, I get paid twice as much to draw the pages, and they go twice as I mean, they go as fast, and then C, royalties. I get twice as much when I get my royalty check. So why would anybody ever use an inker? And that's, no offense. I know we have inkers that are looking for work, but it's just like it never made sense to me. I felt like I was creating work for someone and then basically giving away my job satisfaction. So Lloyd Aloha, thank you for 99 cents. I appreciate that. Let's see. Perfect Blue, $10 says, my wife was in her dev class today and heard two guys talking about Cyberfrog. We're excited to get our 2 copies, but glad to see you taking the time needed for a real long-term hit. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you, Perfect Blue. I can't believe people were talking about Cyberfrog in your dev class. That's so rad. Yeah, I always wonder, like, how much has Cyberfrog penetrated people's consciousness. Grundy Born on a Monday, thanks for $1 donation. Thank you for the tip. I wonder like how it's getting out there because I know people are talking about it. They're talking about it, either they're excited about it or they're envious and hateful about it. But people are talking about it, and the question is, could we actually sell this? Would this be a top 100 book if we sold it through Diamond? Now, it would be the #1 book in terms of graphic novels, because this book right now has sold between 14 and 15,000 copies at $25 cover price. And at 88 pages, it is officially a graphic novel. $25 cover price. It is the #1 graphic novel. Okay, so Marvel and DC have not outsold Cyberfrog Blood Honey at all, except for like in rare cases. Batman Metal, I think, sold 21 or 22 thousand copies of their trade paperback, but Cyberfrog Blood Honey at between 14 and 15,000 just so far is usually the #1 graphic novel on the direct market. Now, if I broke this down, because this is by the way, this is page 19 of the first chapter of the book. If I broke this down to just the first 22 pages and released it as a $5 book, would it penetrate the market? I don't know. I'm almost afraid to find out, but I guess we're gonna find out. Ian House says, in a way, it's good that Cyberpunk has been delayed. The tiny bit of turmoil is weeding out the fair weather fans. Yeah, but I want the fair weather fans too. I want everyone. I want everyone to enjoy this. I mean, this is something that we all did together. AV Fagan, thanks for $1. Appreciate you. And thanks for another $1. Legendary Uriah says, if the comic itself isn't fun at all, why bother making one? So people do it just for work. And I used to do it just for work too. And it really, listen, it beats working. You know what I mean? It beats an actual job. But when you're into it, when you're passionate about your work, no, it's lousy to just be doing it for money. Cumberbatch Pepperpot, hey, thank you. By the way, your covers are going out. Cumberbatch is actually the owner of the original Cyberfrog artwork. He says, we have faith in your vision, EVS. Thank you, and thank you for your support. Cumberbatch Pepperpot, he might not want me to talk about it. Garrett Townsend says, what if you want to write comics but cannot draw? Well, make friends with an artist. That's the thing. Sam McKenzie says, watching Braves baseball on EVS's channel, two of my favorite things. Oh yeah. Your Braves. I hope our Phillies step up this year. I think we have a pretty good team this year. We have a pretty good shot. AC Baychet says, from Charlie's London. Oh, hey, Charlie London. Will you be coming to the UK, doing any cons with Cyberfrog? Thanks for the brilliant discussion today. CG, understand all. I have no plans to go anywhere right now. No plans to travel to the UK for any conventions. I mean, eventually we will. Cyberfrog needs to get big enough that it has its own fan base. I don't want to go to conventions. Former DC Comics former DC Comics artist Ethan Van Sciver. It's so depressing. I need to go there because people love Cyberfrog. And when that happens, I will start traveling. Darth Bobcat says, cringe is memorable. Yeah, it is memorable. Some of these SJW comics have been cringy. Ian House says, you need to make a shut up and draw t-shirt. I would wear that and look at myself in the mirror. Believe it, Ian. Matt Horkin says, how would a Cyberfrog versus Salamandroid fight go? Well, Cyberfrog's much quicker and he's just as strong. He's almost as strong as Salamandroid. It would be a pretty good fight. Donut Swan says, sickness. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Jim Lee should follow Ethan Van Sciver around on his hands and he's begging for his secrets. Oh, no chance. Jim Lee's so much better than me. Paulie D says, who would be your ideal actors for Barry Allen and Hal Jordan? Hal Jordan would be Sawyer from Lost. Barry Allen, I don't really know. I don't really have a Barry Allen in mind right now. Paulie D says, are you hyped for Endgame? Cap is going to bring back the snap and then die fighting Thanos. Why do you keep fighting? I don't like bullies. Yeah, I'm excited about it. Orbital 1970 Goat says, did Do Run Run, The Crystals 1963? Yeah. I love that song. It's a really good song. Obi-Wan says, when I bought my new mattress set in December, I had a conversation with the mattress store owner and staff manager, and they ended up talking about Cyberfrog. So fun. You're everywhere, Uncle E. Wow, that's amazing. Grundy Born on a Monday says, I think when the penciler inks his own stuff, it's his true vision for his work. I think McFarlane and Byrne are good examples of this. Yeah, Todd McFarlane is exactly right. Todd always inked his own work, and therefore he could do what he wanted. And when other people inked him on early on, it never looked as good, and it always bothered me as a fan. I was like, ew, this looks lame. It looks flat. So inking yourself is great, and Byrne is the same way, except when Terry Austin inked Byrne. That was good. Tommy Boy says, how do you do the shade effect in center of Salamandroid right bicep? I'm patiently waiting for perfection. No complaint on time. Shading effect. Oh, pull-outs. You're talking about pull-outs. Pretty easily. Here's what you do. Well, I'll just show you here. I used to do, I think I did an instruction class on this once, but I'll draw it right here. So you want to start with a black area. Okay, so what a pull-out is it's just a fade to white. It's a gray area, because right now you've got black and you've got white, right? So you want to, let me use a bigger pen too. So you'll see it better. Here's an O3. You want to get in there and make a little kind of like that, ready? And then just go like that. Pull out. Try to make a point at the end of it. Pressure, pull out. Pressure, pull out like that. And then the key is to keep them uniform, okay? To keep them equal, like equidistant apart. Like that. Okay? There you go. So that's basically what this is. And you can do them a bunch of different ways. All right, let me get back here. Eric Hupful says, this is why Zach isn't a great artist. No pull-out game. Yeah. He's got a lot of kids. It's good to be a dad, though. No doubt about it. Why is Salamandroid so much bigger than Cyberfrog? Nobody knows. You know, there's no answer for that. He just is. It's just the way he came out. You know. Chris, thanks for $4.99, says, somewhere Mike S. Miller is groaning about the vanishing point on the bricks on the right versus the building on the left. Yeah, but he's wrong. See, here's the thing. Here's what Mike did. Mike put vanishing points. You can do this. Mike put a vanishing point here, and he put a vanishing point here. That's just dumb. I put one vanishing point in the center to do this line of bricks because this wall is at a different angle. They're all on the horizon line. You got one clear out here, and you got one clear out here, closer in, and it's just fine. Trust me. David S. says, got my Cyberfrog today. Thank you, Uncle Ethan. Got your Cyberfrog today? Ixel Pierce, thank you for $1. I wonder what Cyberfrog you mean. Mortal V says, why does Heather's shirt say Mark Waid on it? Oh, you must have gotten artwork. You bought a piece of artwork and I sent it to you? David S. Yeah. I gotta sell some more artwork. David S. thanks for $2. Derek Brown says, taking any orders for original sketches? No, but I'm gonna do another auction pretty soon. So I've still got, like, I did a big auction and I had like 8 pieces of artwork to sell, and then because there were so many people in the auction, I only got to sell 2 of them, and I was like, I'll do another auction. I'll invite just a few people this time instead of 20 people. Joe Marone, thanks for $10. McLeod's Understanding Comics, thoughts about his theory of abstraction, i.e. when a character holds a sword, it becomes part of him, and how it relates to your theory about how boys and girls play with toys. Oh, that's interesting. Well, it's not my theory about how girls and boys play with toys. Remember, it's a study. It was, a study that Lego did to determine why more girls weren't buying Legos, and what they could do to make Legos more playable for girls. I think that is interesting. I think that, again, boys become characters. And you can think about that if you are a boy, and you remember growing up and playing, and you would become Han Solo. And girls don't play like that, really. Girls kind of make their dolls, they project themselves onto their toys rather than project their toys onto themselves. Mike Murphy says, looking for tips. What have you learned going from this to your next major IGG campaign? Looking great, and have a good night, Ethan. Thank you, Mike, and congratulations on the success of Samurai and Dinosaurs. What have I learned? One thing I learned is that everything is a lot more expensive than I thought. By the time this campaign is done, we will have washed. We got a free house out of it, basically. Well, we were able to put down a nice down payment on a new house. But yeah, like the cost of everything and taxes and shipping is a wash at this point. So I learned that, I can't do bookmarks and trading cards and stickers and, extra ash cans and things like that. It's way more expensive than you anticipated. People thought that a chromium cover was really expensive. It's not. One of these chromium books costs about $1.23, I think, is the final price, if you do them in the number that we're buying them at. Because we're ordering like 15,000 of them. So it's not that expensive, but everything else really is. Like a window cling is way more expensive than you'd think. The trading cards are expensive. The ash cans are ridiculously expensive, and it really does add up. Taxes, by the way, when you're making the kind of money, this is so depressing. You make the kind of money that I made on this campaign, just kiss like 40% of it goodbye. It really is sickening how much it costs to be able to make money in the United States of America. Uh, it's just stupid. So yeah. In any case, we got a house out. Andrea's like, oh my God, everything's so expensive. I'm like, we'll get it right next time. And just remember, you're in a new house. It's like, that's what Cyberfrog Blood Honey got us. It got us in a new house. And that's wonderful. Yeah. Yeah, Jersey sucks, dude. It really sucks for taxes. But that is the way it goes. Um, I like Jersey. Move to a different state. I can't. I'm stuck here. That is the way it goes. Um, what size large are you working at? This is an 11 by 17 page. Okay, you can see scale to my hands. It's 11 by 17. This is the way that comic art paper looks. Essentially, you can work smaller if you want. You can work bigger if you want, but this is standard. Right here. Live in a houseboat 50 miles out to sea. That's what people do. They get off the grid. Wildcard Production goes, how old is Cyberfrog? That's a good question. Cyberfrog was born in 1996, and in 1998 he goes into hibernation, and he's 22 years old in 1998, but he was born an adult. So as soon as he was created by his mother, he was already an adult. But right here in this image, he is 2 years old. But he's just fully formed. He was programmed and everything and educated. It's like Superman. The mothership is kind of like Superman. Taught him everything he needed to know. Yeah. Darth Bobcat says, how did they shrink comic art before computers? I don't know. I'm not really sure. Paulie D says, do you feel this graphic novel will be considered your magnum opus? I consider it that way. I do. North American Vikingar says, winning with the tool T. Learn to swim, Hollywood. Yeah. Heather likes Tool, so to speak. And no, Cyberfrog's tongue doesn't explode heads anymore. It did, like in the original series, his tongue implanted time bombs, but I thought that was too weird, so decided not to do that. His tongue is just basically used to grab things now. So if you're trying to get away from Cyberfrog, he'll hit you with his tongue and bring you back. It's like that Mortal Kombat character. Get over here, that guy. Dynamo says, how does Polito afford his campaigns? Good question. I think here's what they were telling me. They're like, look, you can print. Now that you have the money, you're going to print these cards. Print more cards. Print more than you'll need, and just reuse the same things for the campaign, for the next campaign. I think that's kind of what Brian Polito does. Like, he's got guitar picks. They're not brand new guitar picks just for this one campaign. They're guitar picks that he has in his warehouse. It's like he's always got the same merchandise ready, and all he's really printing up are the new comics and the new variant versions of these books. But yeah, I mean, when you see him make $300,000 on a single comic, like it's so much. Like printing, I mean, not printing, shipping alone is just it will knock your head off. I saw Billy Tucci not charging shipping for his new book Zombie Sama, and my heart just sunk. I was like, you're gonna get murdered. Shipping just for Cyberfrog Blood Honey so far, $110,000. Right out the window, $110,000. It is crazy. And yeah, it does suck. But I mean, here's the thing, you can get better and better at this. If I did 3 of these a year, I mean, we'd be doing very, very well. Yeah, so shipping and the tax, job of the cuck, that is the thing. Oh, and also, another thing that we're going to do is we're going to do the black and white series. This is all stuff I tell Andrea to comfort her. She's like, "What about?" I'm like, "No, no, the work's already done, so we can actually do the black and white edition of this, and it's already paid for. It's already drawn. So that's all profit except for shipping. So we'll still make some money off of this. Don't worry. It's going to be fine." Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah, I can't wait to do Rainbow Brute. I've been waiting for that. I've been waiting to do Rainbow Brute for like months. Hold on a second. Killing me. I have so many ideas. And by the way, everybody thinks my ideas are crazy, but you got to trust me. I know what I'm doing. My ideas work. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Rainbow Brute. Rainbow Brute. Look at him. Look at this dude. I can't wait, dude. I love Rainbow Brute. He's awesome. Yeah. And it does look like Kyle. And Andrea said, "Why are you just drawing Kyle Ritter?" I'm like, I didn't even know what Kyle Ritter looked like when I designed Rainbow Brute. I had no idea. I just wanted to draw kind of a dwarf barbarian, fairy barbarian from over the rainbow. And that's what I thought of. And then I saw Kyle. I was like, you look exactly like Rainbow Brute. You look exactly like a dwarf fairy barbarian from over the rainbow. Can't explain it. Or at least you look like my version of one. Thomas Frost, thanks for $2. He says, "Longtime watcher, also an entrepreneur. Keep it up." Thank you. Hey, man, welcome, and thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Yeah. Had a nice talk with Zach today. He's getting ready. Like Zach always says things to me like he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna do like another couple books, then I'm gonna quit." And I'm like, "You are not gonna do another couple books and quit." And and he got back to me. He's like, "I'm not going for 3 more years. I got this, this, and this. I got I got 6 more Jawbreakers books to do. I got all these ideas." And I'm like, "Oh, that's better. Like that's the right attitude. Stick with it. Why would you go do anything else if you could do this? If you could draw your own comics the way that you want to do them, why would you ever go anywhere else?" Hey, Heath Lawrence says, "Hey, Ethan, enjoying the stream. Nothing clever to add to the conversation this evening. Just wishing you all the best as always." Oh, thank you very much. And thank you for $5. Appreciate it. Shinto Ketchup says, "Will there be a musical interlude this evening?" Well, we could do one if you wanted because the phone, I'm filming on my iPhone here. So I'm able to take that over to my keyboard. But whenever I start singing, people leave. And I've learned. Stephen 4X says, "Can't wait for Cyberpunk, but I'm also really intrigued by Fearsome. Do you think that will be out in 2020? Yes. Yeah, I'm being told focus on you this year. I'm going to have Cecil come work on Rainbow Brute, but I'm not going to be working with too many other people. It's just going to be my normal crew, Kyle, my letterer. But Cecil's going to help on Rainbow Brute. And then probably next year, I'm going to be able to start hiring people, All Caps Comics. And that is going to be Fearsome, Kanan. Hopefully Kanan will still be available if he doesn't get snatched up. I have a feeling he's going to get snatched up. Scarlet Crusader, thanks for $20. Wow. Will Comicsgate do a Brave and the Bold sort of thing where you have creators team up for an anthology-style book, a la Cyberpunk and Red Rooster, etc.? I would love to do that. I would love to do that. By the way, have you guys seen the Red Rooster preview pages? Woo! Dude, they're smoking. Mitch Breitweiser's best work, man. I just looked at those pages like, God damn. Really, really good stuff. Go to Mitch Breitweiser's Red Rooster page. I don't know if he's still funding, but if you haven't bought Red Rooster yet, if he is and you're able to, you should do that now. I think the book's going to be done pretty soon, and it looks amazing. Jeremy Smith says, if you're tired of New Jersey, come to Texas. No state tax. Yeah, Florida's the same way. I'm not tired of New Jersey. I love New Jersey. We went to the beach yesterday. We just got in the car and drove to the ocean. I like Atlantic City. I like the ocean. I like Philadelphia. It's expensive, but here's the thing. I'm stuck in New Jersey anyway. When I married Andrea, part of the thing was, look, her daughter from her prior marriage, her ex lives here in New Jersey, and they have their whole arrangement that, she's going to stay here. She's going to go to this great school right here in this town. So we're limited to where we can live until Andrea's daughter Kaylee is 18 and she's just 12. So I'm going to be here for at least 6 years. But I mean, I love New Jersey. I have no problem staying here. I guess if I could live anywhere else, it would be Orlando. I had a great time living in Florida when I lived there for 5 years. But aside from the taxes, I like it here, and I like our new house. We're putting down roots. I know Florida has a better ocean. I know that. Florida was great. I loved it. There's always something to do in Orlando. There's always something to do. There was like I would go and do all the amusement parks, get in that gigantic sky slingshot. That was cool. I was never bored. Great restaurants all around. It's touristy, so you have to get used to swimming among the tourists. But the comic book scene is really good there too. That's another thing. There are a lot of good comic fans there, and like a ton of conventions. There's a comic convention every 2 weeks in Florida, and they're well attended, and the people who live there have money to spend. It was good. I feel like I flourished in Orlando. I did all right there. But now New Jersey's home. It's where I grew up. This is where I grew up. And I have a lot of family here too. Kay Brady says, New Jersey taxes are slowly killing me and I will never retire, but I really do like New Jersey. I understand, buddy. Yeah, Kay Brady. People think in New Jersey, like, New Jersey as being kind of upstate, like, and they think about like the dirty part of New Jersey that they drive through on the turnpike on the way out of or to New York. And they think that's what New Jersey looks like. But, that's not where I live. I live down south. And it's really, really nice down here. Good suburbs. I dig it. Pie Guy says Ethan only eats at Applebee's. I really don't. I didn't have Applebee's until recently. Now that I have Ava, like we try to go to family restaurants, so that she doesn't disturb other people. Having a kid, you want to go to family restaurants. I went to Applebee's and they had a hamburger with a fried egg on it that was really good. It was very, very tasty. I don't know, but I don't really. You guys have to understand something. I didn't get this heavy eating garbage. I really did. Well, I got fat because I like food. I eat good food. I go to nice steakhouses. Star Wars Radio says Cyberfrog. Oh, consider doing a what if issue where Chelson sticks to the original plan and creates Cyberman. Yeah. Scott says, Ethan, how's the weight loss, by the way? I'm holding steady. I haven't lost anything else. Well, you guys got me eating pies and stuff. Just one pie. But yeah, I stopped dieting, really. I know it's going to upset people. Chocolate bunnies, too. Wrong. Mark for Anthony, that chocolate bunny is still upstairs. We took the ears off that chocolate bunny, and I tried to eat it. It's not that good, man. I haven't gone back to the well. I have not gone back to the chocolate bunny well. No, if you're here's the thing, like if I'm gonna eat chocolate, I might as well just go out and get Godiva. If I'm gonna eat a pie, I need to go out and get a good pie. What do you mean prove it? It's right upstairs. Dragon of the Blackpool, thanks for $5. These drawing streams are awesome, Ethan. Would love it if you did them more. Okay, that's good to know because I need to do them for an entire month. Cyborg Patriot, thanks for $2. The ad on your stream is impeach Trump. Not kidding. Are you serious? How does that end up on my stream? I mean, I don't care. I'll take those idiots' money, but that is irritating. Yeah, quality is important when eating sweets, Scott, because, you know, listen, if you're going to do it, if you're going to take in the calories, like I see people buying boxes of Twinkies. I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you eat a box of Twinkies when you could go and get like a really good pastry? Saggy Bone says, what was the last comic that you were passionate about drawing as Blood Honey now? Flash Rebirth #1, I would say. You know, Flash Rebirth #1 was a big deal for me. I really spent a lot of time on that. Yeah, Margaret Miracle, thank you for running the Cyberfrog variant. By the way, if you guys haven't backed Cyberfrog yet, then the link is in the description below. And please do back Cyberfrog Blood Honey while you've still got a chance. It's gonna be it's coming out pretty soon. Yeah, Twinkies cost less, Mark, but do they really? You know what I mean? You pay $2 for all those calories. They don't taste that good. They're really, you know, they're just not that good. You could go to a bakery and get some really good pastries, like some nice puff pastries. Spend a little money on them. If you're gonna take in that kind of sugar and calories and fat, man, do it right. Enjoy yourself. Take care of yourself. Oh, you want to see the bottom half of this page? There's nothing really here. There are 2 black panels, and then 1 panel here that's an extreme close-up of Chell Sin. Because I'll show you. This is kind of a spoiler, so close your eyes if you don't want to see it. But this is the last page of the chapter here. So let me see if we can pull out. So basically, Chelsin's remembering. And what I'm doing now is I'm putting together, this book is the all the pages in order. So right now, like this page goes here. And then as I finalize the order of the book, there's the rest of it. Like those are the pages that are not sequenced yet. I put them in this book for finalization. So this is finalized. Once this page is in here, boom. This is chapter 1, all done. And then I've got a couple of pages that I want to put before chapter 2. I need to draw the soy bomb sequence. And I'll put all those pages in there, and then we got to finish up chapter 3. That's what I got to do this month. Yeah. So that way I can actually read it while I'm like, you know, working on it. Yeah, I have a scanner over here, like around behind my computer. There's a gigantic flatbed scanner. So, you know, when a page is finished, I scan it, immediately send it over to Kyle. So Kyle colors it. I mean, Kyle gets paid in 5-page increments. So Kyle will basically color 5 pages and then he'll disappear for like 3 days. And then he'll throw me another 5 pages. And that's kind of how Kyle works. Yeah. And I just want to make sure he has everything. And sometimes, like Kyle has the last 2 pages of the entire book. And because he's got the last 2 pages of the book, he hasn't colored them yet because he wants to see all the stuff that comes, you know, right before it. Yeah. The guy is amazing. The guy is absolutely amazing. Kyle's keeping up just fine. He really is so good. Kyle goes, okay, this part of the story is like scary and action packed, so I'm going to use reds, and you know, I'm just going to do this whole part of the story in reds, and it's like, oh, it looks so good. It looks so good. Obi-Wan, thanks for $5. I have 12 frog books coming. You're not even to issue 2 yet. I think I'm running short. Might need more. Obi-Wan, You're going to be selling those books to people who missed out, hopefully. Yeah, somebody bought 100 of the first printing back when I opened up retailer tier. It was like you get 100 copies of it. Somebody bought one of those. I'm like, that dude's gonna have 100 copies of the very first printing. It's gonna be amazing. Math isn't my best subject. Says I've said Salamandroid is pretty feral, but he seems to like Heather based on this picture. How is her relationship with him different from hers with Cyberfrog? He's a big puppy dog to her, and he's like that with Cyberfrog too. I mean, he's you got to think of him as just a big dog, big Great Dane. I had a pet Great Dane named Ace, Ace the Bat Hound, a few years ago, and I really do think about Ace when I'm drawing Salamandroid. You know. Jim O'Reilly, thanks for $20. What is the best way to join Comicsgate? Doing shows and selling prints isn't what I want to do. I just want to draw comics. I sent you some samples on Twitter and would appreciate any feedback, good or bad. Well, you just say that you're Comicsgate. That's how to join Comicsgate. There's no initiation. You just say I'm Comicsgate, and people say, "Oh yeah, well F you," and then some other people say, "Oh good, welcome, we love you because you're Comicsgate." And that's kind of how it works. But you want to actually, if you want to be on my show and get some promotion and all that stuff, that's a different story. I mean, I really have to, a lot of people think that like this is the, being on my show is the only way to sell comics, and it really does help. Short term, it just has to be good. The book has to be good. Let me look at it. Yeah. Shade says, unless you're Vox Day. Vox Day is not Comicsgate. And he would tell you that. People have questions about the Vox Day thing. No, Vox Day was never Comicsgate. His books were deliberately provocative. They were deliberately political. And that is not what Comicsgate is. And I would say, well, Comicsgate is about saying, not doing politics, not doing political books. If you're doing right-wing, like extreme right-wing books, it's no better than doing, extreme left-wing books. It's the same thing. You really just want to kind of be politically neutral. So anyone can read anything into it that they want to. I mean, certainly, like, people could read Cyberfrog Bloodhoney and maybe feel like it was speaking to them. But Vox Day didn't want to do that. Vox Day was like, no, I want to fight SJWs by doing books that are just like theirs, but right-wing. So that's the thing. I'm not saying that's good or bad. That's up to you to decide. I'm just saying that's not Comicsgate. It's Comicsgate adjacent. Andorian Nationalist says everything is politics. You cannot be politically neutral. No, you can't be, but the work that you produce can be. Especially if it's just entertainment. You don't have to have a divisive political message in your comic book. You don't have to do that. So, that's my opinion. And I'm not out really to. The thing about it is I'm not even really out to fight SJW Comics as much. I feel like SJW Comics have already beaten the mainstream. There's no point anymore. Like, the first year of Comicsgate was all about people just trying to convince Marvel and DC to stop it, because they were killing the industry with SJWs. That was the initial thought. But, as we've gone on, wow, I made $300 in super chats. You guys, thank you very much. I should do more of these drawing streams. As we've gone on, it's just become clear that, trying to save them from themselves isn't going to work. So we really do kind of need to do our own thing. And, we would be just as poor off. We'd just be just as poorly off if we were trying to do right-wing comics. And I could do it. I mean, I could do Republican comics. I could do, like, kick-ass, like, Punisher-style right-wing comics. But I just don't think, we already have a Punisher. I just don't think that would be, that would work. It wouldn't get the maximum audience. And the key thing about Comicsgate is to find the biggest audience that you can find. It's saying, look, we don't want to exclude people. We don't want people to feel excluded or preached to or anything like that. And that's the key. So people can be Comicsgate, like Vox Day could be Comicsgate if he wanted to be, but his comic books aren't. At least the ones that he's doing so far. Glug glug glug. Yeah. Q Comics. Thank you guys. All right, well, let me just check and make sure I've read everyone's super chats. I don't know how long I've been going, but more than an hour. Way too long. I'm bothering you guys for too long. Let me make sure I read everyone, and then we will just. Oh wow, a lot. Jay Castro says, "Yo, Ethan, big fan. I still can't find a fine line pen that I can always go to for my comics. The one you're using, how would you rate it? 10 out of 10 stars. This is a Copic multiliner. See if I can get it. A Copic multiliner. This is an 0.03. This is the finest pen that you can get, and this is a really, really good quality pen. You can get them on Amazon.com. And I recommend that you do get them. I think they cost about $12. Jedi Knight and friend of Captain Solo says Cecil cameo goes around in a Twinkie truck saving people. That's not a bad idea. Cecil needs to be in everything. He does. Dragon of the Blackpool says these drawing schemes are awesome. Would love it if you did them more often. Yeah, I will. I have to. I have to do them because I have to do videos every day. So this is what we're gonna do. Mr. V says Mecha Random got a copyright strike. Fuck CBS. What? Yeah, that sucks. Obi-Wan says I would love to see an original Punisher adjacent character done by EVS. Fix this now, Ethan. Make it happen. Well, we'll see. AC Baychet says I had this argument today. If you make a political statement, put it into context. Don't do it for doing its sake. Then the story gets lost. Yeah, you can do that. I mean, comics can be political, but again, when you're doing these mainstream comics, like Cyberfrog is as mainstream gets. Like, this character was made to be a toy line. He was made to be on T-shirts. He was made for kids to love and adults to love. This is not the character that you want to, make an outright Trump supporter. You know what I mean? That's just not what. I don't need to pour that part of myself into this character. I think it would be harmful to this character, and I want this character to mean everything to everybody rather than just one thing. That's just not. It's just not the right. It's not the right way to go. That's not what Comicsgate is. Even though Comicsgate is largely made up, some of the creators, we have kind of an overwhelming number of right-leaning creators. That doesn't necessarily mean our comics are right-leaning. In fact, it should mean that they're not. Kanan White's here. Hey, Kanan White. He says, well said, EVS. Thank you. Yeah, we're trying to sell comics. Remember, this is the whole point of this enterprise is to make as much money as we can doing these comics, and we have to do it. They get so mad at how much money these comics are making. They get so mad, and the reason why is because it makes them feel bad. When they see what comics could be earning if they would just put away their political grievances, when they see what comics could be, and that's what we're doing, they get angry and they start yelling. And I'm taking abuse all day long, and it's getting worse and worse and weirder. Twitter is Twitter's a cesspit, but I mean, you really get a sense of like the feelings of failure and inferiority that some of these SJWs have, and then the fact that Cyberfrog, again, we open it up for a third time due to popular demand. I mean, this hasn't been available for sale since September, and I open it up again. People are like, why can't I buy one? Yeah, why? You should be able to buy one. Let's open it up again and let's make some more money. And we do. We're at like $121,000 right now in pre-orders for Cyberfrog Blood Honey, just the third print, and they're furious about it. They're furious. It's like, this is the point of Comicsgate. It's just to say, yeah, but you could have this too if you would just do better comics that were aimed at everybody, if you would stop yelling at your customers, if you would stop being so politically divisive and poisonous and toxic, You could have this too. You are literally paying for the privilege of being an asshole. That's what you're doing. When you see me making $120,000 on the third printing of Cyberfrog, and you are barely selling 900 copies of your comic and thus making almost nothing, that is you giving your money away. You're paying someone for the privilege of being an a-hole. And that's what you're doing. You know, if you also agree with Comicsgate, if you align with Comicsgate principles, but you're afraid to come over here because your quote unquote friends are going to be mean to you in comics, they're not going to invite you to parties, they're going to ostracize you, congratulations, you're paying your friends. You're literally paying your friends. That's what's happening, because your comic book could be over here, Comicsgate, doing pretty well, making better numbers if you listen to us and did what we say and what we recommend. Your comic book could be doing really well too, but instead you're afraid of what your industry friends are going to say. Thus, you are paying them. That money that would be in your pocket is not in your pocket because of your friends. So they're not your friends. You are paying them. And how much is it worth? How much is it worth to you? As I made $700,000 on a comic book about a frog, and you didn't. How much were those parties that you were invited to? How much were they actually worth? Say you went to 2 parties, 3 parties in a year. So what does that add up to? $200,000 and change per party? That's what you're paying. Terrible. It's disgusting. Hixie123 says, is there a way to see backstory or Cyberfrog as a tadpole? He was never a tadpole. You do get to see his origin. And he was born looking like this. Tyler Preston says, patience is a virtue, something they lack. Yeah. You know. Heath Lawrence says, just out of curiosity, Ethan, what resolution do you scan your finished pages at before sending them to the colorist? I think it's 300 DPI, Heath. I don't even pay attention anymore. I set them a decade ago. I still have the same, scanner that I still use. And I set those, I set them 10 years ago, and I just kind of, I don't pay attention. But I think it is 300 DPI. It's fun. All right, guys, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get back to work. Thank you so much for being here. If you guys don't mind, I think this is gonna be what Comic Artist Pro Secrets is for a little while. You're gonna get to see me draw the book. I need to just stop and talk to you guys every day and tell you. It's gonna be discussion. If you have questions about what I'm doing, perspective lessons, things like that we could go through. That's what we can do. But for the entire month, if I can get a couple of Star Wars videos out, I guess I'm going to when I go to Star Wars Celebration. It just seems like for most of the month, most of my content is going to be drawing related. It's going to be back to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. Installation 7 says, what scanner do you use if you don't mind? I use a Mustek. M-U-S-T-E-K. Flatbed scanner. I think it's like 18 by 20. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.